Hey, so I'm gonna start rebuilding this carburetor. Let's just get started. So the first thing you need to do is install the pilot screw and return it to its original position. I've got a new pilot jet, so I'm not going to do that. I'm going to install a new one, so this is going to have to be adjusted. So it's not actually being returned to the original position. So to do this, we have our new pilot screw just here. I'm going to take the plastic tip off. That is the pilot screw. I'm going to put the little spring on it. You want the flattest ends to go inside. So the flattest end at the bottom of the screw. Then it's saying we need a washer and the small O-ring. So I think it's that washer first. Yep, that washer fits nice. And the O-ring. So that is the small O-ring. There, so we have a new pilot screw, spring, washer, small O-ring. And I'm going to stick that in there. Right, so I'm going to screw this down until I feel resistance. I've got the right screwdriver end. I'll stick that in there. Be careful, we don't want to strip this. So just while I'm doing this, I've noticed the actual, if you're looking for a kind of rough position, oh, there's a bit of resistance here. That's not good. There was a lot of resistance there. I'm thinking that's just because it's a new spring, potentially. So comparing the two, I see that the new pilot screw is actually quite a lot larger than the old one. So there is quite a protrude. So you see, this is where they're both level. The new one has a protrude. That does kind of complicate things for me a bit, but not a lot. So this Keyster Kit has this pilot's a lot longer than the previous. So just gonna go back here. It was the washer, the O-ring. Right, so keeping that in mind, I'm actually only screwing it to here. To around there. then the rest just sticks out. Right, so let's keep that in mind. You never know with these aftermarket parts if they've done that for a reason. So when I took my previous one out, the top of the pilot screw, around 8 half turns, had it just nearly poking out the top. Nearly, not fully. There was about a millimeter. So right, I'm just going to keep going until I find that resistance. Right, so that's quite good. The resistance has got the screw nearly perfectly vertical for me, so that's quite nice. So yeah, looking at the spec for a new pilot screw, it is 2 3/4 turns out. So I'll turn this out. Ooh. 1 whole turn. 2 whole turns. Then 3/4, so that is a half. And 3/4. So it was vertical for me, now it's just about horizontal. I'm going to leave it there. That's quite nice. So that is the pilot screw. Now I need to... Okay, now I'm going to install the slow jet. So we have the slow jet. This one. So this is the middle one. Stick that in there. Again, make sure you've got the right screwdriver head. If you've got new parts, you don't really want to damage them. Could be that one. Yeah, that'll do. Just go until I find some resistance. That will do. That is fine. Then, for the main jet, I figured out where that piece came from. This little cylinder with a ridge on it. It's quite small, a little cylinder with a ridge on it. So that is actually, that holds the needle jet holder. So for this little needle jet, it is the long end in, the short end out. I'm just going to stick that in there. So the long end in, that's got that in there. Now the needle jet holder, this little hex drive tube, I'm going to stick that in there. Just screw that in. So there was a bit of resistance when I initially took this out. I've got a torque, a ratchet spanner. I might actually put anti-seize on this. So just gonna stick a bit of anti-seize on the needle jet holder. Point it away from you. I've opened the window. Stick that in there. So yep, there was a bit of, it's quite hard to get out. I'm just gonna, not applying loads of pressure, just making sure it's nice and snug. That'll do, right. And then inside there goes the main jet, the little small stubby jet. I'm just going to screw that on with my fingers. Then I will apply a little bit more pressure to it. That anti-seize stinks. Right, there we go. That is the main jet. Right, so we've done the pilot screw, the needle jet, slash the main jet, and the slow jet. I'm just going to pause here and anti-seize the pilot screw and the slow jet before I continue. Right, so everything's all fine, anti-seized. In fairly tight, not applying loads of pressure, but fairly tight. So that is the jets and the pilot screw complete. Just cleaning up the residue here. So next up, we have this new little float valve. So the pointy end of the float valve goes in with the little spring on top. Then the float goes over. Ugh. Where has that gone? Put the pin to one side. So you need to kind of trap the float valve inside the float, which is proving quite hard. Let's just get it back in there.